Alright, so the Apple iOS 15 update just became available to users. As you've probably heard, this one changes the world of email marketing in a big way. The meme on the screen is a great way to describe it. I'm Casey Luck with Luck & Co Agency, and let's take a look at the main changes and what they mean for email marketers. Here are the main things that you need to know. Apple has rolled out its mail privacy protection with their new operating systems on all Apple devices. Without getting too technical, here's what it's doing. It stops email senders, us, from using invisible pixels to collect information about the user. If you didn't know, the way we're able to tell who opened emails is through this invisible pixel that ESPs, email service providers, add to all of the emails that we send. The pixel loads up when a user opens the email and sends a signal to our email service provider, and that's how we know that someone opened. Now, Apple starts blocking that pixel tracking, which means Apple is hiding recipients' IP address so that it can't be linked to other online activity. It's hiding their location and hiding if they've opened email. People who use an Apple app for reading email and update their operating system will be affected by this. And it doesn't matter which email service they use. For example, at gmail.com or at outlook.com, or all of the work email addresses will be affected if the person uses Apple Mail with those addresses. However, this should not affect other email apps used on Apple devices, like the Gmail app on an iPhone, for example. I know this is a lot, but bear with me as we go to the action steps in just a few moments. When people open Apple Mail after the OS update, they will see this message. Basically, they'll have to choose between two options: protect mail activity and don't protect mail activity. What do you think most people will choose? So technically, mail protection will not be turned on by default, but based on how this is worded, and also based on the percentage of people who opted in for ad tracking, a previous privacy update, I think that at least 95% of people will opt in for mail protection or mail privacy protection. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, please click that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is super important for me and my team. So, needless to say, this is a huge change. If you market in the US and Canada, about half of your openers are using an Apple Mail app. Because our agency works with e-commerce brands, most of which are direct-to-consumer only, the location hiding doesn't actually affect us that much because we don't use location in defining our segments. But I can see how this could be a huge game changer for a lot of other email marketers. But open hiding does affect us in a big way. In my opinion, it's actually going to make email less personalized and more spammy, for lack of a better word, at least in the short term, and here's how. Many marketers consider the open rate a vanity metric, but I personally disagree. It is an important indicator of engagement. It's not the only indicator, but it's an important one. I like to say that if you use the term blast my list, you're doing something wrong. We never send an email campaign to everyone on the list. Instead, we send based on engagement. If someone is engaged with emails, we take that as a signal that they're interested in our stuff, so we send to them more often. If someone is not engaged, that means they're not as interested in our stuff, so we send to them less. And the way we define engagement is opens, clicks, and website activity. So as a sender, when I know when and whether you opened, that actually helps me personalize the frequency with which I communicate with you. This is one perk that consumers will lose. They likely start receiving more emails from the senders that they're subscribed to. Of course, most consumers don't realize that. They also don't realize that when they opt out of ad tracking, that's making the ads that they see online less personalized, which increases the marketing cost for companies, and of course the consumers will be the ones to pay that cost. Now, I'm not saying that privacy protection is bad, far from it. In the big scheme of things, privacy protection is definitely great. But my point is that despite the world trying to convince us that everything is black and white these days, I think that most things, just like Apple's privacy protection, has both good and bad in them. The bottom line is the way we do email marketing is changing. We won't be able to test subject lines and send time accurately anymore. We won't be able to resend to non-openers. We'll have to redefine the engagement segments and probably have to rethink our sending strategy. I put together a separate video showing you exact things that you could do to prepare and respond to these changes, so go check it out. It should pop somewhere in the corner right now. There's also a PDF checklist that my team put together. There's a link to that in the video description, and that has a lot of written instructions for what you could do. I would love to hear how you feel about these changes. Are you excited? Do you feel prepared? Leave a comment and let me know. I'm Casey Luck with Luck & Co Agency. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.